We here at Scrapbook.com believe that handmade cards can lift the human heart and spread happiness. In 2020, we launched a global initiative to get handmade cards to people who are in need of an emotional boost, a helpful hand, or a smile. And speaking of smiles, today we are joined with the president and founder of Bring Smiles to Seniors, Ron Tyson. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Bring Smiles to Seniors distributes cards to seniors all across the United States, and we're excited to learn more. All right, so let's kick it off. Tell me a little bit more about the organization beyond my quick intro. So what does it do, and what's your mission? What do you seek to accomplish?
Sure thing. Probably best to start with how we got started, which is my favorite part of the story. So about 6 years ago, I was visiting my grandmother in her nursing home regularly. She was in with dementia, and she was in her late 90s. And it was really my first foray into understanding the whole nursing home environment and what it's like when you go in and see, when you see patients and residents there. And my mom was really great about decorating my grandmother's room and putting cards up that people had sent and pictures of family. And as I walked through the senior community, I noticed a lot of rooms that were just bare. And I thought, my grandmother was lucky to be taken care of by us, but there were so many people that I found that were lonely who didn't necessarily have visitors from the outside. They were placed in a nursing home. The families just forgot them. They didn't get cards and letters and flowers and other things. And I thought, well, there has to be something I can do about this. And so originally my idea was just to reach out to all my friends and family and have them send greeting cards that I was going to deliver to all the residents that were in my grandmother's community. And the response was so overwhelming that I thought there's got to be more that I can do with this than just this one senior community. And so we kind of started from there and built out to where we serve senior communities in all 50 states, along with Meals on Wheels programs and a whole home delivery program where we deliver cards to seniors at home as well.
Oh, Ron, when you said that, I looked at some of the other rooms and they were bare. I got goosebumps, and not the good kind. Like, I could picture it, and it brought me to tears just picturing those rooms. And I didn't expect to get emotional, and I'm really pleased to hear that this is what led you to what you're doing.
Yeah, there were literally times that, when I would go to visit, I would walk down the hallway and cry, just because of, what I saw, and just the need on people's faces to be reminded that they were loved and they were cared about and they were remembered. And then I got to see the impact of what a handmade card could do. And then it was all rockets from there.
Exactly. Okay, well, so how did Bring Smiles to Seniors get involved with our Cards for Kindness?
We had heard about Cards for Kindness through some of our donors and card makers across the country. We're supported by a whole network of people who make handmade cards that come from every state for the most part. And someone had reached out to me and said that that Scrapbook.com had this Cards for Kindness program, and that we should reach out because we were always in need of more cards, and we wanted to expand and deliver. And so I reached out, and we wound up becoming a partner with Scrapbook.com to receive your wonderful cards on a quarterly basis. And I think the first delivery, I was sitting at my desk, and the UPS truck pulled up, and we got about 23 boxes of cards that were unloaded, and we were in absolute heaven. So we aligned so well with the belief and mission of Scrapbook.com and what you do, and it fits so perfectly into what we do in terms of putting those handmade cards in the hands of seniors across the country.
Right. And I know that you have witnessed so many wonderful moments and what that looks like. Could you please share with us some specific moments and how this has impacted the lives of these individuals and even the people that you work with?
Absolutely. I'm very lucky to be supported by 6 amazing volunteers who run the program with me. They're in all different states across the country. Someone's in charge of our home delivery. Someone's in charge of our Meals on Wheels. Someone's in charge of we have a sister program in Michigan that runs just Michigan along with the rest of the country, which we do out of Florida. And when I started the program, my goal really was to take care of seniors. What I didn't realize was the impact that this program was going to have on the people who actually participate in the program and make cards themselves. The card making community is probably it is a community with the biggest heart that you will ever see and the most amazing people that are part of it. So just a couple examples of both sides of it. One is when I first started the program, I was getting cards regularly from a woman in Canada, actually, which surprised me given that we were just delivering, at that point, it was just Florida. We hadn't even expanded to the other 50 states. And she would send them every couple of weeks. We were getting, beautiful cards that she had made. And so I reached out to her and I said, we're getting these cards from you and you're sending them from Canada to the United States. And I'm just curious, what it is that's attracting you to the program and attracting you to send the cards to us. And she said, well, the reason I do that is because I actually had 2 sons. Both of them had to have cornea transplants, and the corneas came from donors in the United States. And I felt like that was my way of giving back and saying thank you to the people of, the United States for the kindness and the wonderful thing that happened, for my boys.
Wow.
So that was that was way back in the beginning of the program. And, the stories go on from there, from people who said, you've given me new purpose in life. I felt like I needed to give back, but I didn't have a way to. I love to make cards, but I don't know where to send them. And I wind up with this pile of cards that I don't know where they're going to go. And the stories just go, on and on about what it's done for people. And I talk about in my podcast and in my book about feeding the soul. And that's what I hear a lot from people, that their handmade cards, feed their soul. And that means a lot to me. So that's the giving side of it.
Okay.
The 2 stories that I love to tell on the receiving side, in the very early days of the program, we were just serving Florida until we added Michigan. And so we were actually hand delivering cards in the Tampa Bay area because we didn't have that many senior communities that were a part of the program. And so we would, my friend Linda and I, during my lunch hour and on weekends, would go into the senior communities and they would take us around and we would hand deliver the cards to the residents and interact with the residents and, kind of be a part of their life and someone different that they would see. So this we went into a community and the activities director took us into one of the seniors' rooms and she said, the woman, since she's been in with us, and she had been in the community for a couple years, she said, just so you know, she doesn't speak. And so what you'll need to do is take the card and read it to her, and then we can leave the card on her bedside, and then she'll have the card on the bedside. So my friend Linda, who was with me, took the card out, and she read the card to the woman. And as soon as she was done reading the card, the woman looked up at her and said, thank you. And I thought the activities director was going to fall over because they had never heard the woman speak before. And that's the first time that she had actually said something. And that was when I first realized the power of that piece of paper was far greater than just a piece of paper when it gets into the hands of a senior.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am speechless.
Well, I'll tell you the next one.
This is blowing my mind, Ron. What? Okay.
Then the second story was another community we were in, and it was a gentleman, and he was completely immobile in his wheelchair, and they told us the same thing. He can't take the card from you, so you have to take the card out and read it to him. And so Linda did, and she took the card out and she put her arm around him and she read it to him. And as soon as she was done reading the card, he reached up and took the card out of her hand. and they had never seen him move. They're like, this man can't move. Like we have to put him in the wheelchair. He has to be fed. And he took the card out of Linda's hand. And that
you witnessed this.
I was standing there right there with her, when this happened. And I was completely blown away. And Linda and I are both outside, like bawling our eyes out because, it was just both of those events I always talk about because they just show the power of what these cards do.
Oh my goodness. This is a conversation and I don't even know what to say. I just love that. I love that you were able to identify the connection with not only the participants or donors, with making the cards and then seeing what it does for the recipients. Because what you described when someone is a crafter or a card maker, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help. And then I just have this pile of cards. This is a way to avoid that because I believe that while they're making those cards, there is love happening. That is an energy and it is real. And if that stays in a box and doesn't get sent to someone, that you're witnessing that energy, that love, that care being emitted and transferred. And it blows my mind. I'm literally speechless right now.
It's funny because a lot of the cards that come into the Florida office.
Be sure to subscribe to the Life Handmade podcast in your favorite app where you enjoy your other podcasts. Happiness is life handmade.